Okay, I've got bugs all over my dang forehead. All over everything, these little gnats. They go in your nose, they go in your eyes, they go in your mouth. We just finished our half marathon. Over there, they're having some kind of party, so as we were running in, they were all cheering and stuff for their own selves, but I was pretending that they're cheering like a finish line. Oh, it hurts, oh. It felt great, but it was, my hip flexors, my ankles, my feet, they're feeling it. They're feeling it. That was great though. Did it. All right, so it is 2 days later. I'm doing mobility because I have some spots on my hips that are sore and they feel tight. In this video, I'm following along with Tom Merrick. He's on YouTube. Definitely check him out if you're looking for some good mobility routines. Okay, so let's talk half marathon. I am so blown away that I was able to run that half marathon. I didn't end up signing up for a race for various reasons, so I ran it with my family, and I don't know, it was super fun to be able to have my whole family involved in that. I started running when I was 16. I'm now 30, but I didn't stay running this whole time. I started running when I was 16. I got up to where I was running 5 miles every day, and I'd say when I stopped when I was around 18, running consistently. And then when I was 23, I started to do weight training. But during the time between 18 and 23, I would do like HIIT cardio. Like, you remember that workout Insanity? I would do stuff like that. So everything was always cardio based. But when I got into weight training, I dropped cardio 100% because I bought into the myth of you have to pick one or the other. You can't lift and do cardio. You can't do cardio and lift. One's gonna kill your gains. So I dropped cardio completely and I wholeheartedly went for weight training. And I completely fell in love with weight training. I loved everything about it, how strong it made me feel, how it changed my body. I embraced it fully. But in the back of my head, there was always like, I would like to run again, just because when you run, you feel free. It's like the way you feel when you run feels so different from the way you feel when you lift. And both are fantastic. They both make you feel amazing afterwards. But the feeling is different for lifting and for running. And so because I always had that in the back of my head that I still wanted to run, I always said, someday I'll start running. I want to start running again. But there was a part of me that was scared to run because of the whole myth around losing your gains if you run while you're weightlifting. Remember, you have to pick one or the other. And oddly enough, the thing that got me over the fear of losing what I had built in the gym, was FOMO. I was envious of my husband because he ran an ultra marathon, and he was explaining to me what he was going through while he was running that ultra marathon. And I was just thinking the whole time, like, I want to be able to experience that. And so I said, screw it. I said, I'm gonna learn how to run again. And when I say learn how to run, I mean learn how to run. You wouldn't think that you would need to learn how to run because it's such a natural mechanic that we should be able to do because it's just our body, right? But I felt so awkward when I first started running. And because I felt awkward and because running was not part of my daily routines, I knew that the only way I was going to be able to stick to it is if I was held accountable. So I set up a running plan on my Garmin app, and I set it to basically couch to half marathon. And it set me up a little running plan, and that's what I followed the entire time. And that's the only reason I was able to stick to the running, is because it was holding me accountable. It was assigning me specific things that I needed to do 3 days a week. And just like with anything that you're new at, There's going to be hurdles to overcome. There's going to be things that you're going to experience that you didn't expect to experience. And I had some aches and some pains. And it wasn't stuff that was super serious on an injury type level. It was just things that, your certain muscle groups that you didn't even know existed, you start feeling. So it took about 4 to 6 weeks of my body going through all the different adaptations of this new stimulus before I started to feel, quote, normal. Before running started to feel natural and my breathing started to level out and my feet felt normal and my calves stopped burning the entire time I ran. And then suddenly I'm able to run longer distances and I'm like, it feels good. It doesn't feel like I'm suffering the whole time. And at the end of my 17 weeks of training, I'm running a half marathon and it felt good. I felt strong during the half marathon. And, leading up to it in your mind, it can feel scary and a little bit daunting before you actually run. And even in the beginning, when you first get the idea that you want to run, it is so scary to think that you're going to run such a long distance because your body is not physically capable of running that distance before you start the training. And your mind is not ready to be able to, it doesn't grasp the concept of you're gonna be able to run this someday. Like, you're gonna be strong enough to run this one day. Your cardiovascular system is gonna be able to do this one day. And you get to the point where you look forward to running and it feels good to run and you're not dreading every time you have to lace up your shoes and go out there running. And the thing that you have to keep in mind every single time is that you're just focusing on that day. You're just focusing on that one run that is scheduled for that day and do your very best at that run. For me, the reason why a half marathon or even a marathon or an ultra marathon, it seems so impossible is because I had never done it before. But it's just like with when I'm lifting weights. When I first started lifting weights, I had no idea what I was doing. And I didn't have the strength built up to be able to lift the weight that I'm lifting at this point in my journey. And if the weight that I'm lifting now would have been so daunting to me in the very beginning of my journey. And the same thing applies to running. It's only scary because you've never done it before. But we don't have to do the big thing right at the beginning. The big thing comes at the end. It's the little small steps in between that build us up. It's what builds our mind and our body and our belief in ourselves that we are even able to do these things. And this applies to everything we do in life. This doesn't just apply to fitness. This applies to every single aspect of our life. Everything that we aspire to be, everything that we want to do, but we let fear and the unknown hold us back. And so what I've learned during this process of learning how to run again is that we only need to focus on the small things. Keep the big goal right in our sight where you can still see it, but we're not focusing on the end goal. We're focusing on the little steps it takes to get to that end goal. And before you know it, you're doing the thing like it's always been a part of you, like you've always been comfortable doing it. And that is why I'm so glad I decided to embrace running. After spending so many years of it being something that I was just going to someday do. And maybe it's not even running or weightlifting for you. Maybe for you it's something different. But whatever it is, I encourage you just to take the small steps and go after it. Keep the big goal in sight, but don't let it swallow you. Just focus on the little steps it takes to get there. But that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that your day is great, and I hope that you are able to achieve whatever it is that is in your heart that you want to achieve. My next goal is to run a full marathon, and so if you would like to come along with that journey, then I encourage you to hit the subscribe button And if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, but it's up to you. And I'll see you in the next video.